Hi there, boys and girls. Let's go ahead and get started with this week's lesson. We're going to go ahead and learn all about the principles of design. We have worked with this presentation that you see here in the past, but of course it changes with each principle of design that we focus on. So here we have how to complete this activity. Remember that you must have your Google Slides in this format, making sure that you're able to see the drag and drop features. If you're working on this on a tablet, I would suggest that you please go ahead as you work, take screenshots of your slides and save them. That way you can upload them before you turn in your assignment to make sure that you are actually submitting the work completed. Here on this slide, it shows you another little tip and trick on how to complete this activity. There is a bar here that allows you to go ahead and make changes to the colors or shapes that you use or add anything else that you would like. So please make sure that you watch this video, as it is very important for you to be able to understand so that you can use this toolbar that you have up here to your advantage. The next slide here, remember our slide organization. Some slides in this document are informational, meaning they have information that you're going to need to read, and they're not interactive. But there are slides that are interactive. So make sure not to skip over the informational slides because they will help you with your interactive slides. How can you know that it is an interactive slide? Just remember the little rainbow in the corner will help you understand that that is a slide that needs to be completed with the activity. Make sure you also read all the directions on the slide. So this week's principle of design is unity. So what is unity? Well, unity is the sense of harmony between all the elements in an artwork. It describes how all the different pieces of the artwork work together as a whole. The artist created a sense of unity in this artwork by using the same color throughout it and by arranging the boxes in a stable manner. Everything looks like it belongs. And this unified piece is called the Sky Cathedral by Louis Nevelson, and it was created in 1958. So remember, unity, togetherness, harmony. Unity can be influenced by proximity. That just means how closely elements are arranged in a piece of artwork. This design here doesn't have a good sense of unity. And remember proximity. They're not so close to each other, but let's look at the design here on the right. This design has a better sense of unity because the shapes are overlapping and they seem to belong in the same group. Let's look at this slide here. This is an interactive slide. Unity can be influenced by alignment. That's how parts of the artwork line up together. As you can see here, with this example, this design has a good sense of unity because the edges of the shapes line up with one another. So what we will be doing here in this interactive slide is drag and drop the shapes from the sidebar here in our drag and drop section into the box above to create a design using alignment. They line up with each other and therefore it will create unity. So let's go ahead and do that here. So I'm going to make a really little small example here on my screen. Okay, and you're going to see me create something that looks rather unified. And I'm going to do something, but first I'm going to go ahead and just lay out my shapes how I want them to be. All right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just create like a little pattern. I'm going to do that by, I want to change a color. So I clicked on the shape that we have here, our hexagon, and I'm going to go ahead and change the color. I want to change it to yellow. All right, so I'm going to use a pattern to create some unity somehow here. All right, so here's my piece. This is what I've created, my example, and you're going to notice how I changed the color of the box. So what I did is I click on it, and then I come over to the fill color little button here, and I just click, and it gives me all these different shades of colors that I can change my hexagon into. I could make it orange, or I could make it pink. It's up to me, right? That's what I wanted to choose. So I went with yellow. I didn't need to just stick with purple. So that's what I created, and that's my unified piece. I'm going to go ahead and just place these back where they need to be. I'm going to show you something that is not unified, nor is it aligned, which is what we're looking for. And this would be considered not aligned. That is an example of what you should not be doing because they're not aligned. Now, if I add these shapes alongside each other somehow, and they will start to look more aligned, right? But I need to make sure that everything I'm doing within my work is with a purpose. Now, my next slide. Something familiar here, repetition. Unity can be influenced by repetition. When something repeats itself more than once, right? The more an element is repeated, the more it looks like it belongs to the whole. The pattern in this design helps create a sense of unity. Drag and drop shapes from the sidebar into the box to create a design using repetition. So I can choose any shape I'd like. Remember, in repetition, there's different types of repetition. It's not just A. There's A, B, or A, B, C. As long as I keep the pattern going. So I can choose to use a diamond and a triangle. How is this repetition? Well, as long as I keep the pattern moving. Okay, that's how I would create repetition. Off to our next slide. So once I've done those two, now my next slide is asking me the following. So we have Gray by Livs Elliott, and it was created in 2015. The question asks us, how did the artist create a sense of unity in this artwork? So you can go back and look at what you've learned in alignment and in repetition, which are ways of creating unity. You could also think about proximity, which is also another way of creating unity. So let's think about what we've learned, and let's go ahead and use that to help us write out, well, how did this artist create a sense of unity in this artwork? And I'll go ahead and type out my answer here. Make sure that your answer is a full response. Please don't put one-word responses. You won't be receiving full credit with one-word responses. Once you're done with that, let's move on to the next slide, and it has another question. How did the artist here in this piece? And this is by Rene Magritte. How did he create a sense of unity in this artwork? And go ahead and the same thing here, type in your response. Once you're all done, great work, you finished. So when you're done, please make sure that all the work in your slides has saved. How do you know if your work is being saved? Well, right here at the very top, there's a little section here. in your PowerPoint. This is last edit was made 2 minutes ago. So please make sure that you go ahead and you check on this. You see how it says 2 minutes ago? I haven't done anything since 2 minutes ago, but if you've been working on it consistently, that means that you haven't stopped working on it. And it says last edit was made 30 minutes ago and you've been working on it till the moment you're about to turn it in, then I would suggest you just go back and check on your stuff and take screenshots because it may not save. Okay. That could be a thing. But if it says seconds ago or if it's just a couple minutes because you've let it sit for a while, chances are your work has saved properly. Okay. So please make sure that you turn this in. This assignment is due on Friday by 11:59 p.m. Please make sure that all the work from the beginning of the 6 weeks until now is completed as I'm going in and checking everything. All right. I want you all to have a wonderful weekend, and I hope this was enjoyable to learn about unity, something very important in art. All right. Have a wonderful week again. Bye, everyone.